Poverty within the Navajo Nation. Native Americans are one of the biggest minority groups around the world who face hardships in living situations, inadequate education, absolute poverty, as well as gender-related roles within their communities and households. If we create a community-based organization that provides healthy living conditions to those in the Navajo Nation, the Native Americans will see growth within the community, education, employment, and other everyday necessities, not only from this organization, but also because of the new and improved living situations used to help nurture their everyday needs and allowing them the right resources and actions to improve their way of life through sustainable and ecological modernizations. The Red Feather Development Group is located in Flagstaff, Arizona. This organization was founded in 1994 in Bellevue, Washington, by Robert and Anita Young. Partnering with American Indian tribes, this community-based organization works to create healthy and safe living by using their resources to provide sustainable necessities and solutions in the Navajo Nation. Working to create ecological modernization, Red Feather has created various projects supplemented in helping with. Some of the projects that they have worked on include providing educational workshops to females in a single household with basic repair knowledge, weatherized skills to ensure that others can learn how to help their home, DIY video workshop, in-person workshop, information on hazard assessments, as well as telling the negative side effects of these conditions, as well as informing the community about the negative side effects that these conditions may cause within a household. They have given out green cleaning kits, healthy heating solutions such as heat pumps, mini stoves, and solar furnaces, as well as air purifiers and hand washing stations.
The reason why we focus on the health in the home, because with people who are native, they're really home-based, and obviously the economic disadvantages around them have caused them to have homes that either become dilapidated, they become essentially unlivable, but that's the only place they can reside at, because the nearest services next to them would be like 45 minutes to 2 hours away from them. So like, for example, we go into homes that we have to do home assessments on, and like just looking from the outside, we see that, oh, this person, like, okay, to give you an example, um, the health and there was an elder I visited. She lives in Tuba City, but she has no transportation because the front of her house, it's really, really sandy, so there was no way for her to even like go. She had really bad knees. Her family couldn't even drive into the driveway. I didn't even know I couldn't drive into the driveway. I drove in there with a car and I got stuck. And that's just one of the things that people don't think about, is the disadvantage that she already has, because that's her land. Obviously, she's making a home out of it. Her home was on that land, but it's not accessible to the public. It's not accessible to like resources. What if there was an emergency? Um, she was telling me like, oh, I have to walk to the nearest road, and that's really hard for me sometimes because that's the only way I can get my groceries. It's the only way I can get my laundry done. So just that economic disadvantage within itself shows that the care of her home was in bad shape, because she was like, I don't have anyone to come and help me with this. I don't have anyone to bring me these. So with Red Feather, we focus on obviously giving resources to those people who are really in need of the services that we have. So we have to figure out ways to get the services out to them. We have to think and remember that these services that we're providing are a really great help to each and every client that we take care of. But then again, we also have to keep in the back of our mind that these economic disadvantages are all over the Navajo Nation. So that also ties back to us doing outreach and finding clients that are in need of these items. And again, like I said, Native Americans are really home-based. All they want to do is, when they get older, is be back on where they live, where they're from. So it's really hard for them to maintain a healthy home like you would see out in a predominantly white neighborhood that has everything they need. They have running water, they have everything.
Mm-hmm.
But these homes, some of them don't even have running water. Either they're too far away from it, or they're not in the area that they need to be to get the running water. Like the running water could be right next to them, but the utility services say that we can't service this area because it's not in our boundaries. So there's just a lot of things here and there that you think about.
The functionalist perspective is a sociological approach that emphasizes the way in which parts of a society are structured to maintain its stability. Native Americans are often subjected to classify with the lower brackets of the social class due to institutionalized racism or systematic racism that allows society to limit the resources that are offered to those impoverished. The conflict perspective, a approach that assumes that social behavior is best understood in terms of tension between groups over power or the allocation of resources. This includes money, housing, access to services, and group and political representation. Individuals who are connected to the low-income social group are primarily focused on the system and how it is rigged. This is said because of the limited employment opportunities. Many individuals are scouted based on their race, background, education, and other certifications that aren't offered to those who are impoverished. And the interactionalist perspective is a sociological approach that generalizes about everyday forms of social interactions in order to explain a society, in which we can analyze individuals based off of their everyday lives. This is where we understand how Native Americans support themselves financially under poor living conditions and deal with the misconception and negative depictions that are based solely on their appearance. Many Native Americans who struggle with disorders, health, and lack of everyday needs are negatively affected.
Our main focus is healthy, safe homes for everyone. And so when we can find ways to help communities help themselves by doing DIY projects, that's been a really big part of what we've tried to do. Joe also dropped in my lap the education program, and so since we couldn't go out and do as many educational programs and workshops as we wanted, we created online education.